You love them deeply, but you're walking on eggshells. One day you're their everything. The next day, you're the enemy. You apologize for things you didn't do. You defend yourself against accusations that make no sense. You think if you just love them perfectly, the chaos will stop. But here's what you need to hear. The Bible has something to say about unstable relationships, and it's not what most pastors will tell you. What I'm about to show you will change how you see borderline personality disorder and why staying might be destroying both of you. By the end of this video, you'll understand what the Bible actually says about emotional chaos and why you keep accepting it. Here's what most people miss. The Bible doesn't use the term borderline personality disorder, but it talks extensively about emotional instability. Proverbs 25:28 says, "Like a city whose walls are broken through is a person who lacks self-control." When someone can't regulate their emotions, the chaos doesn't stay inside them. It floods into everyone around them. And here's the part nobody talks about. You can love someone deeply and still acknowledge that the relationship is destroying you. Let me show you 3 truths the Bible reveals about loving someone with borderline and why you keep sacrificing yourself. Truth number 1, the Bible describes emotional instability and warns about its cost. Look at Samson, strongest man alive, anointed by God, called for a purpose, but emotionally, completely unstable. He fell for Delilah, gave her everything, even when she kept betraying him, even when the pattern was obvious. 3 times she tried to destroy him, 3 times he went back. Why? Because he mistook intensity for intimacy, because he couldn't regulate his emotions long enough to see the destruction, and it cost him everything: his strength, his eyes, his freedom, his life. Here's what people often miss about Samson. His downfall wasn't about physical weakness, it was about emotional instability. He was strong on the outside, but inside, reactive, impulsive, driven by feelings he couldn't control. Samson's story isn't ancient history, it's what emotional instability still looks like when strength on the outside hides chaos inside. Sound familiar? Here's what people with borderline often struggle with. Fear of abandonment so intense that they push away the people they need most. One moment, "Don't leave me." The next moment, "I hate you." And you're stuck trying to prove you're not abandoning them, while they're treating you like the enemy. Proverbs 21:9 says, "Better to live on a corner of the roof than share a house with a quarrelsome wife." That's not encouraging divorce. That's acknowledging reality. Constant conflict destroys peace. And peace isn't a luxury, it's a biblical requirement for healthy relationships. Truth number 2, the Bible never commands you to absorb someone else's chaos. Here's where religion gets it wrong. Love is patient. Bear one another's burdens. Turn the other cheek. People use these verses to guilt you into staying in emotional chaos. But love being patient doesn't mean accepting abuse. And Galatians 6 says, each one should carry their own load. There's a difference between helping someone with their burden and carrying the weight they refuse to pick up. Look at Jesus with the rich young ruler. The man came to Jesus, asked what he needed to do. Jesus told him, "Sell everything and follow me." The man walked away sad. And Jesus, he let him go. He didn't chase him, didn't beg, didn't lower the standard. He loved him enough to let him choose. When you're loving someone with borderline, here's what happens. You change everything to avoid triggering them. You monitor your words, your tone, your facial expressions. You become hyper-vigilant. That's not love. That's survival mode. Ephesians 4:15 says, "Speaking the truth in love," not hiding the truth to keep the peace. Truth and love. When you can't speak truth because they can't handle it, you're not in a relationship. You're in a hostage situation. Truth number 3. You stay because you confuse intensity with intimacy. Here's the painful truth. The relationship feels so deep because it's so intense. The highs are incredible. They idolize you. They need you. Then the lows hit. They vilify you. They accuse you. You think, if we can just get back to the good times. But the intensity isn't intimacy. Real intimacy is stable. Real intimacy is safe. Real intimacy doesn't require you to constantly prove yourself. Look at Ruth and Naomi. Ruth's commitment was steady. Where you go, I will go. Not, I love you. Wait, I hate you. Wait, don't leave me. Steady, consistent, safe. That's what real love looks like. The chaos you're in, that's not deep love. That's trauma bonding. You stay because the fear of them hurting themselves keeps you trapped. You stay because they've convinced you that leaving would destroy them. You stay because the good moments feel so rare that you treat them like they're worth the abuse. But 1 Corinthians 13 describes what love is. Love is patient. Love is kind. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Not easily angered. Keeps no record of wrongs. When someone brings up every mistake in every argument, when someone rages at you for things that don't make sense, when someone punishes you with silence, threats, or accusations, that's not biblical love. And you're not unloving for acknowledging it. So what does the Bible actually say you should do? First, acknowledge the reality without guilt. You can love someone and still recognize the relationship is unhealthy. Second, understand that you can't fix them. People with borderline need professional help. Not just your love, not just your patience. Professional help. If they refuse to get it, you can't force them. And you staying isn't helping them. It's enabling them to avoid the pain that would push them toward healing. Third, set boundaries and mean them. I love you, but I can't be in this relationship if you won't get help. I care about you, but I won't accept being screamed at. Boundaries aren't punishment, they're protection. And if someone threatens self-harm when you set boundaries, that's manipulation. Call a crisis line, call their family, call 911 if necessary, but don't let the fear of what they might do keep you trapped. You're not responsible for their choices. Fourth, recognize why you keep staying. Do I believe I'm the only one who can save them? Do I feel guilty for having needs? Do I think suffering equals love? People with borderline often attract over-functioning caregivers. You think if you just love them hard enough, they'll heal. But Jesus healed people who wanted to be healed. When people rejected him, he moved on. Matthew 10:14. If anyone will not welcome you or listen to your words, leave that home or town and shake the dust off your feet. He didn't stay and beg. He released them and moved forward. Here's the truth nobody wants to say out loud. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is walk away. Not because you don't care, but because staying is destroying both of you. They need help you can't provide, and you need peace they can't give. You can't love someone into healing. Healing requires them to do the work. And if they're not willing, you staying won't change that. You'll just lose yourself in the process. The world says love means staying no matter what. The Bible says love also means knowing when to let go. One leads to codependency, the other leads to freedom. Proverbs 4:23, above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. You can't guard your heart while giving someone unlimited access to destroy it. If this spoke to you, drop a comment. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. Loving someone doesn't mean losing yourself. You are allowed to choose peace. You are allowed to set boundaries. You are allowed to leave. Your worth isn't determined by how much chaos you can endure, but by whose you are.